let's turn that right down. Struth. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. A little AMA. AMA. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Or something like that, isn't it? How are you? It's just me. It's a little chat-a-vu. I'm maybe a tad earlier than I'd suggested I might be, but that's because it's really chilled and I don't really care. Do you care that much? I don't think you do. Tell me... Hello, Lee. How are you, my friend? Tell me if you can... Hello, Stephen. The audio, too loud, too soft, the music. My audio, too loud, too soft, not very melodic. Tell me what works, what doesn't work, and we'll adjust everything before we get stuck in. Okay, we've got an oi oi, and we have a hey rock. How cute. Hello, Kumna. How are you, my friend? Lukey, good to see you. Just a chilled AMA for a Wednesday evening in prep for the coming of Rock and Ray Season 2 in the next couple of weeks. I thought there's been a load going on, and I've got some interesting news as well, so I thought I'd share that with you. I just wanted to... Hello, Brandon, fresh from Florida. Ems, how are you, darling? Guys, just let me know, how's the audio sounding? I've got some music on in the background. I think you can hear it, but what I don't want is for it to be too loud. Too loud. So, yeah, give us... Hello, Ray. Bless your little socks. Dave, how are you, my friend? Great to see you guys. Thank you so much. So, yeah, could just wave, do something, say something. Let me know how it's all sounding. If you say, you know what, I can't hear a darn thing, then that's maybe not. Awful, mate. Your voice is like gravel. Yeah, well, I get that. That's years and years of Jack Daniels abuse, Dave, unfortunately. I think I've had a couple of JDs and what do they call it with ginger ale? Is it Jack and Ginge? I don't know. Ed Sheeran. I've had a couple of Eds, but not recently. So come, I can't hear the music. I did turn it down quite low. Hang on. It was because it was blasting my ears. Let me turn it down in my ears and I'll whack it up in your ears. Okay, can you hear that? Boop, 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 boop. Oh, look at that. The music stops the minute that I... Let me put another one on. There you go. Can you hear it? Ah, yes. But is it too loud, Kumna? Because if it be, I can decrease le volume, as they say in the Philippines. I'm going to turn it down in my ears anyway. Oh no, I can't turn it down in my ears. What? What? Oh, I know why. Because I'm in your stream. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Good. It is ambient music. Let me switch over to my ears. There we go. I can't hear it so much anymore. But I want you guys, if you can hear it, then we're happy bunnies. If it's too loud. So there we go. JD and Pepsi Max. Well, you may or may not know this, Stephen. I actually don't drink, and it's not through any kind of misspent youth. I've just never got a taste for alcohol. It's never really done it for me. I used to go out and have a few sherbets with the friends, and it was all that kind of stuff for a chuckle. But I was never one that I really wanted a drink. It was never the thing for me. And as I've got older, I just can't be bothered. I occasionally have a beer when I go out to the ruggers with the chaps, but that's quite infrequent. I haven't done that for well over a year. I shall leave that music for you then, Stephen. Thank you very much. So I'm using Melon tonight, ladies and gentlemen, which is what Dave Codex uses. And the thing with it is I managed to blag a full pro account. So I've got this because I'm hoping to do a little showette in the future where I'm going to review content creation applications and tips and tricks and ideas and have guests and stuff. So I asked them, I said, if you want to be included in my run, and they said, yeah, absolutely, whatever you like, here you go. So Eli's asking me, have I had the search bar? A couple of things. One is I don't use Stadia on a browser. I rarely game in here in my shed, which is where all my PC and stuff is, I just don't find it very comfortable. So I tend to sit in my sofa. This is true. My sofa has been worn out by me. There is a large indentation on one side of this big old leather thing that where I sit, and this is so funny. I'm gonna have to admit this to you guys. It got so bad that one day I thought, genius, because it's like it's a huge leather thing, but you can lift up the seats and then it's got sort of compartments underneath. So we got it when the kids were babies because you could shovel their stuff in underneath, all the toys and things. But as it happens, because of that, everything is unscrewable, so you can take it all apart and what have you. And so I thought, I'll take the seat from one side that has hardly been touched by Rock's bot, and I'll replace the one on the other side. And for days it was lovely. I had a nice plane of sight and everything, but over the last couple of weeks it's gone. I'm a big old fella, ladies and gents. I am a big old. I mean, I'm 6 foot, nearly 6'3", and I've accumulated a few pounds over the last whatevers. So yeah, apologies for that. But anyway, so that was my chair story. But I don't tend to browse with Stadia. I tend to use my CCU, and more recently Google TV, because I was cynical about this, because what you're running on Google TV right now is an Android version. It's an Android app. The Android app that you have on your phone is what you install on Google TV if you sideload it. I thought there's no way it could be any good. Turns out it looks better. I think it looks better than the CCU. The UI doesn't work properly because it's designed for a phone, but graphically it does look darned good. Hello Ruben, how are you? What have we got going down here? So this is an AMA. This is just this week, and then I don't know if I'll do it next week, but very, very soon. I'm so excited that we'll be bringing back Rock and Ray Season 2, just once Ray's a bit rested, and we need to have a chat about content. We're going to mix. We knew anyway that we needed to mix it up, because doing the news thing on a Tuesday and then following it up with news on the Wednesday obviously causes an issue, because it's boring. You've just heard me and Ray talking about the news on the Tuesday, and now we're talking about it on the Wednesday. So we knew that we had to do something with the show anyway, and so we need to have a little thinky poos about how that's going to work. But I'd sort of mentioned to Ray last night that what we'll probably do, it's our show, is actually not do news. We'll make it more of a chat experience. So we'll have Ray's praise, but we'll spend more time talking with our guest, and we'll have a look at game reviews and games and stuff, and new games, and maybe even some live play. I haven't talked this through yet with Ray, but I'm just thinking I want to make it, I still want the amazing chemistry that Ray and I have that you guys love, but we'll do less of the news, because quite honestly everybody does the freaking news, and we cover it off from our unique perspective on Tuesdays with the post-launch anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed the show last night. We had a great turnout, didn't we? Really good fun. Yeah, so Kumnar thinks Ray and I should have a Just Dance battle. Well, you never know, Kumnar. You never know. We may decide that something like that could be quite fun. So only wish I could give more than one. Oh, thank you, RJ. That's very kind of you. Thumbs up to you too, my friend. Thumbs up to you all. The love in this community. You know what? We have this kind of whole thing about the toxicity. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. I never saw a huge amount of it, and that's true. And I don't know whether that's because I've kind of curated my... It's one of two things, I think. It's either because I've curated my Twitter. I don't really do Facebook. That was toxic. Oh boy, I got out of there. But I kind of curate my Twitter. So you know how you can have it where it shows you all the latest posts, or you can have it so that it only shows you the ones that you want to see. Hello, Anthony. Great to see you, my friend. I've got it so it curates it for me. And so what it does is it shows me tweets from people that I've engaged with the most, or maybe I've hung around reading their stuff the longest for. And that tends to be the people that are the least negative in the community. So I don't really get a lot of that stuff anyway. Plus, my shows, as Ray and Duncan and anybody else that has ever worked with me knows, they're 100% about entertainment. They're not about, negativity or about wanting to get opinions across or egos or any of that stuff. They're about having a laugh. They're about making the day more joyful for you. Hello, Aaron. Aaron's in the house. I love Aaron's sense of humour. He's such a bonus having on Tuesday nights, because as Clive will tell you, when you do a show with any kind of guests or panelists, you want people that laugh at you, because otherwise it becomes tumbleweed. Kevin, great to see you, my friend. Kevin, I joined you on Facebook today. Did you spot that? I did. I've been having a look at my channel today, and I noticed it came up and it said, "Do you want to be friends with Ray?" Yeah. Do you want to be friends with Kevin? Yeah. So, but again, it's all about curation. Choose your friends. Don't just follow everybody. Don't just subscribe to everybody. Follow the people you enjoy. Talk to the people you enjoy. Subscribe to the people you enjoy. That's the key thing. Eli says, imagine limited mission. Oh no, he's talking. It's some stuff. So yeah, I'm using Melon tonight. And the thing I love about Melon, and Dave, I've seen this with you as well, is its actual compression algorithm. The quality of what it does is really good. So you don't get the same level of compression, which is fairly high on StreamYard. Wow, yeah, thank you for that, Anthony. I'm always open. I'm always looking, you know me, I'm always looking at I try stuff out, as you guys know, and if it really floats my boat, then I might go with it for a while. But I also believe, just like on your normal TV, on your normal telly at home, you'll have a season of Grey's Anatomy or a season of The Office, and then they park it for a bit, because they know if they had it all the time, if WandaVision was on all the time, by about 26 episodes in, everybody's tuned out because they're bored with it. So I actually like the idea of doing something for a while, and look at that, the music ends, and then parking it for a bit. But yeah, so anyway, I'm really excited. It was a great show last night. Absolutely brilliant show. That's one of the best shows in terms of the guests, in terms of the banter, in terms of the news, in terms of the amount of guys that turned up and the chat and everything else. One of the best, I think, in my very, very short... Yeah, it's only been 3 years in dog years, my little streaming career. It would come now. It would become EastEnders, and you're absolutely right, my friend. EastEnders is it's like the daddy of soaps in the UK, guys. It's the All of Our Years, if you like, that I know has been one of the long-running soaps in America land. Brandon has moved to Florida, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon is now ensconced in deepest Florida. And he did a little video the other day, and I was so happy for him. He was really happy, and the sun was shining, the palm trees were there. It was absolutely gorgeous. Cowboy vs. Ray, Season 2. Yeah. Yeah, see, Anthony and Ray have got great chemistry as well. This whole kind of wrestlers banter thing that they have going down. It's always great fun. No, Holtz has never done TV soaps. Do you know what, Stephen? I was around when EastEnders started, obviously. Coronation Street, which, ladies and gentlemen, is the longest running soap in the UK. Literally, I think it started in the very early 1960s. And in fact, the oldest, the guy that had been on it since the beginning only died last year. Here's a story. Lee will back me up on this. Cloud Gaming Dad. You used to walk his dogs, didn't you, my friend? The chap I'm talking about, I've forgotten his name. That's why I'm hoping Lee's going to pop it up in the chat. Lee used to walk the dogs, because Coronation Street set in Manchester, where Lee and Ems and David Codex live. And the fella, oh cripes, he'll come up in a second. Yeah, 125 years. It feels that. It definitely feels like 125 years. But yeah, Bill Roache, thank you. Thank you. So Lee used to walk this fella's dogs. I love those stories. You know, it's like the I walked Adam Ant's dog stories. And but we've spoken about this before, and Lee told me he was an absolutely lovely fella, which was a great story. I love it. Don't you love it? Is he? But Emma, he's gone, isn't he? He's not with us anymore. Please tell me because I'm famous for this at work. There'll be mention of somebody. I go, yeah, it's a shame when he died, and they'll go, he's not dead. Yeah, he died years ago. No, he didn't. And a Wikipedia it and find that the fella's still kicking around. I do that a lot. So yeah, if Bill isn't dead, bless him. No, Lee says he's still alive. All right, Matt, I won't break the news to you. Yeah, he's still alive, Lee. Yeah. He's still kicking. See, I don't know. What do I know? Somebody died in Coronation Street the other day, didn't they? I thought it was your erstwhile Bill Roache. Let me look this up. Bill Roache. Bill Roache, still very much alive. William Roache. Yes, he's still alive. I told you. I do this all the time. He's 89 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Let me do some screen sharing with you, because I want to screen share something with you in a second anyway. Let me see. Let's pull up Mr. Roache so that we can see who we're talking about. Oh, hang on. I've got to do a different window because I'm using a different browser for the audio so that it doesn't get feedback from me. I think about this stuff, you see, folks. Right. Mr. Roache, here he comes. Here he is, bless him. So that fella there, which looks like he's wearing a syrup, but he's not, actually. That is his genuine hair. Let me scroll in on Bill. Do you know, I don't know about you, but this music's doing my head in. It's a good job. Now what have I done? Oh no. I've made everything really super big. Oh, there we go. Whew. Right, get rid of magnifier. Get rid of audio boy. And then we'll increase the size of Bill. Here we go. So, yeah, Bill Roache, still very much alive. But he is 89. There he is. And he's a lovely fella that has nice dogs. Oh, Ken Barlow in the series died. That was his character, wasn't it, Ken Barlow? So so the character died, but not the actor. Well, he's 89, bless him. He deserves a retirement, doesn't he? So yeah, he's no longer with us in Teleland, apparently. Ray just joined Team Rock. Bless you, my friend. I thought you were already in Team Rock. Maybe you did something special. You're an absolute darling of a fella. So Barbara from Coronation Street. Here we go. Here's one from Ems. Oh, no, not that one. Where'd it go? These are moving fast here, folks. You have to keep up. Somebody said, here we go. Emma says, Barbara from the Royal family also lives around the corner from us. So that's a comedy show. And Carolina Hearn, I believe, was her show, wasn't it? Is that the one? And she's definitely dead, isn't she? I'm not making that up. Bless her. Very talented comedienne who sadly is no more. This is getting really morose, isn't it? I know, I'm sorry, Kumnar. I'm killing people off. But I tell you what, I've got a bit of news, actually, which I'll share with you. So, this is all true. The other day, I got a text message from the Vice-Chancellor, believe it or not, of Exeter College. This is Exeter College. Let me see if I'll make this a bit bigger. There we go. Exeter College is one of the largest further educational establishments in the UK. It's absolutely huge. It's very successful. And in the past, I suppose I still am to a degree, I've worked with them on things like, I've been on the steering committee of their Entrepreneur Academy. I've been a mentor for their students. Every year they drag me in to the business school and I do like a Dragon's Den, a Shark Tank, where they present their ideas. And it's lovely, actually, because they usually ask 2 or 3 of us local business bods, and you always get one knob. That's a little English word for you, ladies and gentlemen, to think on the door, who actually thinks that they should treat the kids as if they're properly pitching and stuff. And I hate that. So I give them vast encouragement, offer to help them out at school and all that stuff. But anyway, So, getting back on track, the Vice Chancellor texted me. A lovely fella, actually, I've known for a little while. And he said, Rokk, although he didn't say that, he said, Adam, we are setting up, we've set up, we're launching it this year, believe it or not, an eSports academy for kids. So it's an academy where they can go and get qualification in being in the business of esports, not just, how to play. And he has asked me if I will be the ambassador for the esports academy at the college. Wow. I'm like, yeah. So I'm going to go and have a coffee with him and tie it all down. Obviously, all voluntary stuff. I don't charge for anything like this. But I'm going to be an ambassador of an esports academy. And imagine that. Hey, Sebastian, how are you? Imagine. So I'm guessing, I may even be able to search on their site for this. I'll be, obviously, I'll be talking to the kids and doing my talking to the kids stuff. But also, I'm hoping that I'll get to go with them to some of the big tournaments and stuff. What have we got here? Here we go. Esports. Here it is. Yeah. Now I haven't broken the news to them yet that I'm actually rubbish at PvP. But so here's the course. It's a post-level 3 extension course, so you bolted on to the end of probably an entrepreneur course or a degree, business degree, BTEC diploma, full-time in the subject area of business. And then it talks about this fantastic hands-on course will give an excellent grounding in the business of esport. It's intended for students that have completed a 2-year program at level 3 in either A-level or BTEC. This will allow students a potential 3rd year of funded education and will provide UCAS points equivalent to 2 additional A-levels. So they can take this and they can apply it to a university degree to get into a university of their choice. So I'm so chuffed about this. So basically, I get to be part of these guys' future and the future of gaming, which is absolutely amazing. So it's not official yet, but I'm kind of letting you guys know, it's just between us, isn't it? But it's all been set up, so I'm going in. Actually, we're having a virtual call because I'm a bit funny about meeting folk during COVID. So Rob, the Vice Chancellor, and a couple of other guys, we're all going to get on a call. And of course, I'm going to say yes, please. It'd be fantastic to help them and be part of that. So yeah, I'll let you know more about that when it happens. Share some of the stuff. They usually there would definitely be a video with me in it and stuff. I've got a load actually on. You can dig them out. Look on YouTube. Look for Adam Stone, Exeter College. You'll find them there. So that's good. So there's a little bit of news, isn't it? It's kind of gaming related, but it's not really my channel per se. Thanks, Ray. I was really excited when he got in touch with me about that, actually, earlier in the week. She was the back end of last week. So, looking forward to that. That should be good. And there you go. So if you've got any, like Lee and Ems, if young Stadia boy was thinking about this, because the great thing about this is it's not like you're going to specifically do a gaming degree, for example, which I think there are some universities that do. It's bolted on to a business course. So actually, what you're doing is you're getting a really good grounding in business studies, and then you get to bolt esports on, which counts as towards a couple of A-levels, which is really cool. Apologies to Americans. I'm sorry, I know a bit about how your educational system works, but I don't know what the equivalent would be, in terms of A-levels and things. Oh, he's now Cloud Boy, ladies and gentlemen. He's not Stadia Boy anymore. He's following in the footsteps of Dad, which is brilliant. I love that. Look, Paul thinks that Lee wants to sign up. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm sure they'll do, have mature students. Why wouldn't they? So anyway, that was a little bit of news I thought I'd share with you guys, just sort of outside. It's funny because they don't really, they know, it is known in the local business community that I love gaming. and have done for years, and I've written stuff and been involved in stuff, and oftentimes I'll get local firms come up and say, oh, we're thinking of doing an event, a retro gaming event, and we all know that you love gaming, do you want to get involved? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Which is why I think, because they know, obviously I've been involved with them on the business side, so it's kind of a logical thing. I don't think I'll be involved in any of the teaching, or I know I won't be, or writing of the course, but I'll be an ambassador for it. So I'll be doing this kind of thing, I'll be promoting it, helping the kids, all that kind of stuff. Cheers, Sebastian. Speak to you later, my friend. A little bit of news around Dr. Spaceman as well coming up. Not quite ready to break that yet, but watch out for that one. Well, I'll tell you it's to do with Cloudbased, but don't say anything. Right, so what else have we got? There you go. That's my little bit of news, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of news there for you. My eSports Academy ambassadorship. So it won't be long. I'll be getting the knighthood soon. You wait and see. When it's King William, and I'm as old as Bill Roache. They'll be saying, yes, services to the gaming community. Arise, Lord Rokk of Gameshire. That'll be me. I'll be getting up there with me little ermine cloak in the House of Commons, looking like a doddery old fellow, well, more doddery than I am now, let's put it that way. Okay, so say goodbye to fellow with glasses. There he goes. Nice to see you, my friend. Let's bring me back in. So there you go. That will be me in at some point this year. I guess they're looking to launch it in September, because that's the school term, isn't it? So yeah, look forward to that one. So come on, folks. What questions have you got for me, if any? You don't have to have any if you don't want to. I was playing. I played a couple of things actually before I came on with my gals, with my daughters, and one of them was a new game from Electronic Arts, which I've already forgotten the name of. It's something like The Two of Us or something, and it's actually really good. It's like a bit like, I should say, Big Little Planet. It's a bit like Big Little Planet, and it's a little bit like It Takes Two. You see, thanks, Andy. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I have so many young friends. Because by having young friends, they remind me of things that I forget. I played the darn game half an hour ago. So we played that. Looks gorgeous. Oh, by the way, if you've got a PlayStation, sorry to mention the PS word, this is a gaming free zone, right? There's a trial version that you can play. I don't know if it's on other platforms. It probably is. And if it is, then it's probably the same with those as well. But there's a trial version, so you can download... I think it's the single game or the multiplayer game as a trial version. And we did split screen, couch co-op. Yeah, I'll have to remind you later, Dave. Oh, honestly, my friend, you wait till you get into your 50s. It's not funny. But it's, okay, so I'm going to get to the point where I'm like, but it looks gorgeous. It's so well crafted. It's a platform, as I say, it's a kind of 3D, fairly fluid platform, like Little Big Planet, but probably less constricted in terms of how you can move in the game. But the problem we had was that it was a vertical split, and we much prefer a horizontal split, like when you do a Formula One game, or where, in fact, what we really prefer is the Little Big Planet style, where everyone's in the same screen and you've just got to try and keep together. So yeah, that was a good question, Kumna. I'll come on to that next, mate. So we really enjoyed it, and then there was a huge boss fight, and if you know my gaming tastes, I hate boss fights. It's that one darn thing that the Japanese gaming industry gave us. I really don't. I was saying to Becky, my daughter, I said, if you hate boss fights, you want to play Monster Hunt. It's just one long boss fight. But we lost the boss fight. We think that after the boss fight would have been the end of the trial anyway, so you get like a couple of levels to play, but it's great. Download it, give it a go. And it's for console games, it's really cheap actually. It's I think it's about £35 at the moment. What's that, about $39, $39. Yeah, a bit like Unravel. Unravel's a great game, Lee. Absolutely right, my friend. So all of that kind of stuff's great. But what's really good about It Takes Two is the point that it does take two. The whole game is about collaboration. So you can't progress without, someone's got to hold this so the other person can jump up there and then they get up there to hold that so you can, and all that stuff, which is cool. And you know what's really lovely is that the premise of the game is this little girl's mum and dad are getting divorced, and she wishes she's bought a book on relationships. I don't know why, she's only 7, but you know what? She bought a book on relationships, and she's wishing that it's so cute. She's wishing on this book that her mum and dad sort it out. And then the mum and dad get transported into her dolls and stuff. And then the whole game is about them rebuilding their relationship, which I think is a lovely premise. So yeah, free trial if you want to have a little look at that one. So just winding it back, Kumnar has a really good question. Here we go. Kumnar says, not gaming related, but how has your business been impacted by COVID? Yeah, well, it has been. There are very few businesses in the world that haven't been. But I am what is traditionally called a survivor. My entire 30 years of business, you do not have, that very few do. I mean, there's some that do, but very few people have smooth sailing in business. Business is, you're out, business to me is you're in a dinghy on the ocean. And some days it's mill pond and it's sunshine and you make great headway. And other days it's 100 feet waves, storms lashing, lightning, the whole works. And sometimes you get tipped out of your dinghy and you've got to swim like anything to get back to it. And other times you can put your feet up and enjoy the sunshine. And business is like that. And COVID, we had what was called a perfect storm, I guess, in the UK, because not only did we get impacted by COVID, but also we had the Brexit thing as well, leaving Europe. Now, there is no doubt in my mind, and full disclosure, I know a lot of you, particularly in the UK, were probably very much pro the leaving Europe, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to argue the case either way, but I was anti-Brexit. As a businessman, I couldn't see the benefit, and my case was simple. If somebody opens a big hole in the road and says jump in, it could be really good, and you look around you and actually where you are is okay, why do you need to jump in the hole? But there you go, we did. We jumped in the hole. So we had the double whammy of the impact of Brexit and the impact of having to close business down for months. It's difficult to know what impact Brexit would have had if COVID hadn't have come along. I think a lot of what happened around Brexit was hidden within what COVID brought. So either way, double impact. I'm lucky. Look, plus side, I'm lucky because my business is a service-based industry. I do not make a physical product. My business, if you don't know, guys, I'll show you. I'll bring it up on screen. Actually, it's called Rokk. It's actually not called Rokk. I've got to be honest with you here. It's called Rokk Media Limited, but we changed the name before I even got into gaming and such, because we've been called Rokk Media for a long time, and people were confused about what the hell does a company called Rokk Media do. And we would get bands approaching us and stuff, and musical and what have you. But anyway, Rokk is the trading name of Rokk Media Limited, and we develop mobile apps, sort of online software applications, complex websites, that kind of stuff. And so we do this, or we were doing this out of 2 offices, one in London and one down here on the southwest coast of England, Leicestershire. So on the one hand, it wasn't a huge issue because all my guys needed to do was take their computers home, plug them into their broadband, and away they go. Everything we do is cloud-based. Funnily enough, the irony, everything we do is cloud-based. Nothing is stored locally. In fact, we had a break-in just before, I guess it must have been about 7 or 8 months before lockdown. And, they took a load of stuff, but didn't matter to us. Doesn't matter to us. We could go down the road, buy a bunch of kit, plug it in, and we're back again because everything we do is cloud-based, which was our saving grace where COVID came in, because, of course, it meant that all of my guys could just fire up. We're also a little bit of a distributed company anyway. Obviously, offices in 2 different locations, although the London office is more of a sales office, in fairness. But we also have a team of developers that that are retained to us in Nepal, believe it or not, in the foothills of the Himalayas. How amazing is that? And they've been working exclusively for us now for a number of years. So, we've also got a lot of our work is offloaded abroad anyway. And again, different degrees of how much the impact is, but a lot of the guys there quite happily working from home. So it didn't really, on that level, it didn't really impact us. However, in terms of the other aspect, because there's 2 aspects to every business. Okay, there's business in equals money, and there's production, pushing out the product, or delivering the service. So delivering the service wasn't an issue. We had that covered because we could do that remotely. But, and good evening to you, young Dan. How are you, my friend? But we definitely saw a drop off in inbound inquiries. So the issue for us was that, plus, of course, ridiculous office expenses, because we still had to carry on paying business rates, which is a tax purely for having an office open. And if I say to you guys in the UK, as a for instance, your domestic rates are probably somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 a year, right? Well, my office rates for one of my offices was £3,000 a month. My wage bill is £750,000 a year. And all of that's, you've got to find that money. People have got to get paid. So, yeah, we saw a big drop off. Funny enough, we didn't see it so much last year as we saw it towards the end of last year. And the first couple of months of this year, we saw quite a chunky drop off in inquiries. Luckily for us, at any one time, we've got something like 20 or 30 projects on the go. So there's a rolling cash flow. But if you don't keep the hopper fed, so many months down the road, it's going to dry up. So we made use of free money that was being offered out to businesses. So we took some. There's a couple of government loans that very low interest rates. They weren't. We didn't have to underwrite them as directors. So we just really as a buffer, if nothing more, just kind of to give us a buffer. But the good news is we're doing okay right now. We just landed a big contract. It's a 6-figure contract, ironically, for an app in the mental health sector, which I'm really excited about. Everybody, a lot of people know that that's something that has plagued me over the last few years, and something I'm always really excited to get involved with. So yeah, it's been tough, but it could have been much worse. And I look at businesses like those where we're based down in the southwest of England. It's very much a tourist-based industry. Tourist-based economy. So there's lots of local businesses that have suffered, and not just the businesses where they weren't able to open their doors and welcome in physical guests, paying guests, or people drinking or what have you, people eating. It wasn't just that; it's the fact that there are loads of businesses that service those businesses, so you get that big old knockback. But it's picking up, and I have to say, there's resilience. That's the one thing about businesses. If you've been around for a little while, you just learn to be resilient. And I've been through a number of business downsides. I mean, with the 2008 was a massive one, where the banks, who all literally got away with murder, and led to the rise of populism, and the rise of racism and everything else that ultimately led to the events of the last 5 or 6 years. That all of that stuff has an impact on businesses. But yeah, it's good right now. It's really good. And I take a little bit less of a hands-on approach with the company anyway these days. I mean, otherwise there's no way I could do all this stuff. So I'm kind of, I wouldn't say I'm semi-retired because I'm on it all the time. I'm a bit like a Solomon. They come to me all day long saying, what do you reckon, this or this? But I'm not an autocratic boss either. I'm always been a massive believer in encouraging people to make their own decisions and choices and backing them as well. No point in having people employed to make a decision that they make and get wrong, and then you kick them all around the room. I mean, you just have to learn by what went wrong and make sure it doesn't happen again. So yeah, all that stuff goes on. I'm trying to, I'm honestly very open about my business. As I said to other people, I rarely talk about it on camera to you guys because there's a fine line between it sounding arrogant and if it's not related to a show that I'm putting on, why do you want to know? Do you know the music's gone and it's sort of a bit worrying. Let me put it back on. So yeah, it's not that that's why I don't talk about it. I just don't. I am not arrogant by nature. I don't have an ego. I genuinely don't. I mean, we all have an ego, but I don't have an ego. I don't need it to be fed. And if I did, you'd be hearing me boast all over the place. And on that basis, you wouldn't want to be watching my stuff because that's not what I want it to be about. Yeah, I brought it in, Dan. It was there earlier, mate. It went quiet. I don't know why. So there you go. I hope that's, but my heart goes out to people. There are businesses out there who didn't make it, through no fault of their own. I've been bankrupt. I know what it's like. I mean, many years ago, mid-90s. So I know that the stigma, a lot of it's self-imposed, I have to say, but I know what that does. And when I went bankrupt, it actually meant more. That sounds awful. What I mean by that is that there were more pressures on you as a bankrupt. You couldn't run a business for so long. You couldn't work in certain areas. And it was only 10 years before I was born that if you went bankrupt, you probably would go to prison. So, yeah, it's changed a lot these days. And for a lot of people, it's the only option they have. And there are very few people that go out their way to set up a business and go bankrupt. Very few. But yeah, but my heart goes out to those folk, frankly, because through no fault of their own, who the hell could have ever predicted COVID? I remember when we were watching the news out of China, which was around November 2019, I think, and they were just starting to say, there's this virus in China and it's not looking too cool, and it never struck me that it might break out and become a global issue, but boy did it. And look, I mean, only this week we heard from Eddie, bless him, bless Eddie and his family, that Eddie's wife's father got COVID, died. It just, I've had people die. In fact, I've got a funeral next week for an uncle that died from COVID. So it's everywhere, and you never take it for granted. And it makes my blood boil to see people like Tucker Carlson. I mean, really genuinely boils my lobster, who's literally this week making it sound as if you should rebel against people wearing masks. And this is what he said: if you see children wearing masks, it's child abuse and you should report them to the police. And he is completely backed by the Murdoch empire. Lachlan Murdoch, who is the eldest son of Rupert. Rupert is approaching 100. He ain't going to be around for much longer. But don't think for 1 minute when Rupert goes, the evil empire goes with him, because Lachlan is far more right-wing than his father. And he runs his American empire from Sydney in Australia. He can't even be bothered to be in the States. The youngest brother, I've forgotten his name, he left the Murdoch empire and he rallies against them. It's a really interesting dynamic. But yeah, there's some nasty, nasty people out there. But go with your hearts, folks. You know what's right and wrong. You don't need to be told. You know it. And look, none of us like to be told. None of us like to be stuck at home in a box, 24/7, unable to go out and have a few beers or cuddle people and stuff. None of us want that, right? But equally, none of us want to lose our family either, or ourselves. And it can happen in a heartbeat, happen in a whisper. So yeah, no, this it boils my lobster. That's my new phrase. Tucker Carlson, you boil my lobster, sir. Right, well, Ray, thank you for the praise, my friend. I can't wait to get Rock and Ray back up. I really can't. I love that man to pieces. What else have we got, ladies and gentlemen? Where are we? 10 past 8. I was only going to start at 8. I started early because I thought actually a lot of decent shows happen around 8 plus, so I didn't want to crash anybody. Now you're very welcome, Kumnar. That's what it's at AMA, isn't it? You can ask me anything. I absolutely have no problem. Stadia Krampus, how are you, my friend? Great to see you. So what else would you like to know, ladies and gents? Hello, Dre. Dre, now Dre is, love you, Dre. Dre is off to Spain. How did the house valuation go, my friend? He was having his house valued this week. And hopefully, if the price was right, he was heading off. I am using a light ring Stadia Krampus as we speak. It's a really cheap rubbish one, and I've broken it, and it's actually attached to my camera mount by a piece of old cord. It's hanging there. So yeah, it's all a bit of a joke. But I've got my camera on a tripod, which is pretty cool, so I can do this. Woo! Look at that. There's a blanket there, folks. Do you see this? This is another mic tripod. What I'm planning on doing is putting a mic on that one so that I can sit in that chair down there and have a sort of a proper cozy, comfy AMA in the leather chair at some point in the future. But I couldn't find the mic. I think I've shoved it up in the garage. I've also turned the lights off in here because I usually have it quite bright, and I thought it'd be quite nice to have a little bit more intimate light in my AMA. ANAMA, it's Ask Me Anything, Stephen. I would always call it in the old days FAQ, frequently asked questions, but I guess they're kind of in the past, aren't they? And then there's the other one, which I've forgotten now, which my daughter said, oh, you mean, when you say AMA, you mean Q&A, questions and answers. That's another one. But the social thing is, do you know, Nakinu, let me tell you, my friend, that this new chair, which is definitely new compared to the one that you know I sold, is actually older than you. This chair that I'm sat on is about 25 years old. and it creaks a bit, and actually I have to say it's not hugely comfortable anymore, but it kind of has, you just don't like throwing some old stuff out, do you? It's like this top, this big fleecy thing. My brother gave me this. I used to enjoy my brother was always, he's not so much anymore, bless him, but he was always one of those kind of label guys, so he'd always buy stuff with labels. It was always top quality stuff. And then he'd get bored with it and he'd say to me, I've got a bag of stuff if you want to add. Yeah. So a lot of my clothes are my brother's cast-offs, and this one is probably about 15 years old. Look, honestly, I don't have an ego. I haven't driven a car. I haven't driven my own car that I own for 6 or 7 years. And I've had some decent cars, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Rock? Hey, Chariot Man, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Oh, look, and Sean as well. Hi, pal. Sean's a lovely fella. So, yeah, come on, ask me some questions. Come on. I kind of am doing... Well, I am. The business, we try with our business, with Rock, we've been trying for a long time to be carbon neutral, and all of our energy is recycled energy. My staff all have an incentive if they want to work from home or cycle to work if they want to as well. We've discouraged going to client meetings for years now. So rather than driving everywhere, we've done it for a long time over the phone or video conferencing, which is why COVID lockdown wasn't a massive issue for us, because we kind of always been doing that. So the environment's important. I mean, geez, next to look, we're not helping ourselves, right? There are, I think now, approaching 8 billion humans on the planet Earth. Put that in perspective, in the 1950s, I don't think there was 1 billion. So in my lifetime, well, not quite my lifetime, I'm not that old, but certainly within the lifetime of my father, there's been an exponential burst in humans on the planet. And that's because our medicine and our quality of care is unbelievable now. You know, we can, and we've just seen it. Nature dished up a virus which 200 years ago would have wiped out half the planet, and that is what nature does. You know, if there's too many foxes in a field, they eat the rabbits, there's nothing for them to eat, they get disease, they turn on each other, half the population dies and the rabbits come back. That's what nature does, right? So when nature puts COVID on the planet, call it nature, call it God, call it whatever you want, when the balance puts a disease out there, its job is to bring down the population. But we've even got to a point now where we can avoid that. I don't know what we're going to do. It's going to be like Outriders. We're all going to have to jump in a big old spaceship and go and live elsewhere. I'm sure that's why they're readying the moon and Mars and what have you, because you're going to have to. No one's going to turn around, are they, and say, sorry folks, we're going to have to kill half of you. It's just, you know. Did you ever see the film? Come on, Dave, if you're still in the chat. My brain's gone again. What was the film where Logan's Run? So there was a film. I loved that film because one of the reasons I loved it, it had Jenny Agutter. Oh, Jenny. And they all had to die at the age of 30. Altered carbon, yeah, exactly. Hey, Adam, how are you, my friend? Great to have you on the show yesterday. You know, and you could, all that science fiction stuff, you could so see it coming true. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look, you know what? We're now 14 billion people on the planet. We actually can't grow enough food. Disease is rampant. There's mass migration. There's wars everywhere. We're all going to have to do something about it. Well, what do? The ice caps have melted because it's all too hot. We're all living up on hills because the coast's eroded. It's the future, isn't it? I mean, what can you say? But, you know, we're all clever folk. At least we've got a couple of half-decent people in power now. If we can get rid of our bozo, we'll be a step in the right direction. What have you got for me, ladies and gentlemen? We'll do this for 15 more minutes, and then I'll let other more serious streamers take the world. I'm just having a look back up through the chat here. Rapture. Oh, yes, Big Daddy. That... did you have a look at it in the end? I know, I can't remember who it was. I think, was it I1 who said they thought it was weird? We're talking about a game called Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. Now this, if you guys, it was a free PS Pro game, I think. It's an indie title, won loads of awards. Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, which is actually called Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. That's me all over, isn't it? Let's pull that up. This game, if you haven't played it, ladies and gentlemen, is one of my all-time favorite games. It's absolutely gorgeous. Let's do a thing. Let me see. Oh look, we get the whatever that is language. So the premise of this game, it is odd if you've never played it. I get that. The premise is that there has been a catastrophe. I forget I'm not going to say what the catastrophe is. I've forgotten. No, I don't want to spoil it. In this village, and you as a character, it's first person, as you'll see, with the most gorgeous graphics. I mean, I love jumping into this game and just walking around in this. The music's really making me feel quite emotional already. I don't know if you can hear the music, but basically you're in this village, you follow this golden orb, and the orb takes you to various story points in the game where you unravel the kind of what's gone on. Where has everybody gone? Why is there nobody left in this village? And so that was quick. So yeah, you follow the orb, it takes you around. Let me find something a bit more. Oh, here we go. IGN are going to talk about it, so I'll mute them. Yeah, so you're first person, you walk around this village, there's nobody there, all right? And why? Where have they gone? Gorgeous graphics. And then every so often, your orb creates these kind of ghost-like encounters. And what it is it's not ghosts as in hauntings, it's shadows of the past talking about something going on in the village life at that time. You know, it may have been an affair the vicar was having or something like that, but it all builds towards the ultimate story. But the soundtrack It's again, it's the writer of the music and the singer is actually a very famous classical musician, and the audio, the soundtrack on this game is stunning. So if you want a game that you've got to be patient with it, because it isn't instant gratification with this. You know, it is a walking simulator, which I hate that phrase. It's a derogatory thing. Beautifully crafted, as you can see. And you can walk anywhere. There's no restrictions, and there are levels through the game. They're not levels that get harder. They're just different chapters in the story. So as you progress through the different chapters, you uncover more of the story until you get right to the end. And there is, I have to say, it's a spiritual ending. And the rapture, as you know, is the coming of Christ. In the Bible, the end story, if you like, when apparently there's mass destruction and Jesus comes and saves the souls, the rapture. So there is a spiritual aspect, but it isn't religious per se, but it definitely has that. So if that's your thing, you'll love it anyway. But I just adore this game. This is up there, top 5 games for me of all time. It's an indie. It's an independent title. Each chapter is in the name of a character. So as you saw there, Wendy. So it would be that person's story, their backstory, and you just build it up. It's set in England, so it's all really well acted, by the way. Really good acting, voice acting. And it's not like a massive puzzle game because it's more of an exploration and you piece things together yourself. So imagine it more like a cinematic experience that you are involved with and engaged with. But as I said, it was a PS Plus game. You can pick it up for pennies anyway. It isn't just on PlayStation. I think it's on Steam as well. So if you have access to Steam, to GeForce Now, or to PlayStation, go and get it. Honestly, you won't regret it. What Big Daddy? What were we talking about when I said about this game? There was another game that you were thinking of buying or you were playing, and I said, oh, it was Hellblade. Hellblade, which is another amazing game about mental illness, actually, about mental health. Great, fantastic game, and that's what reminded me of this. Because this isn't specifically about that, but it is amazing. So Lee says, question, what game would you like to see most on Stadia? I suppose the selfish me says that I want to see the same games that other people are getting to experience day in day, firstly. But I know what you mean is what games historical games. Well, I said this week, and I meant it as well, I'd love to see Unreal Tournament come to Stadia. The more recent one, which is still, 25 years ago now. And the reason for that is, little story, that is where I really got into gaming in the modern sense. And also my persona of Rokk first came to be, because that was the gaming character in Unreal Tournament that I called myself. I think it was the Rokk, Rokk, or 1K actually in those days. So this is still everybody's gone to the Rapture, folks. I'll just leave it on here because it's so gorgeous. So I'd love to see Unreal Tournament. I'd love that game. Such a good game. I had so many fun memories playing Unreal Tournament. But in more modern times, my favourite game of modern times is Horizon Zero Dawn. So it's never going to happen, but I'd love to see that come to Stadia. Equally, I really, really enjoyed Death Stranding. I think that's a stunning game. Both of those games would be, they're big games, so they would be really good to have on cloud. And Death Stranding is such a beautiful game. Another game like this one, like Hellblade and others, where people just don't give it the time. You've really got to give it time. And I get that. We've got so many games dropping. Whatever platform you're into, every single month we're getting stuff now, aren't we? There was, Sean put me onto it actually earlier, is it Second Evolution, the thing that's dropped on Game Pass? Had a quick look at that, looks quite good. Need to spend some time. We've got so many games coming at us that when a game like Rapture or Death Stranding or Hellblade or any of those games where they are, I would say, slow burners, they build you up with a story, a lot of people just don't bother anymore. And that's such a shame because, I love to play games to completion. And most of the games I start, I try and finish. So I tend to be quite selective about what I start. I might just give it a little play, just to see, what does it look like? This thing that people are going on about, which is why I get disappointed when I can't get into games like Cyberpunk, which should be right up my avenue. It ticks so many boxes for me, and I see Ray and others loving that game, and I just can't get into it. I picked it up again yesterday, 10 minutes in, and I'm just like, I can't. I don't know why. It's bizarre. It's like a psychological block. But it's the games that I love. Thinking games. I love games that make that. It's the same when I watch. I love science fiction, but I hate slosh science fiction where it's just contrived crap. I love it where they really thought, would that work on a scientific level? Or I tell you, there was a great series. You guys are going to have to help me out again here. I think it's called Uploaded. It's on Amazon. It's a comedy series recently. Is it Uploaded? Something like that. And it's a comedy written by the same guy that did The American Office, I think. But wow. Upload. Thanks, Sean. I was going to ask if you, because I know you and I both watched it, that the thinking behind the stuff that they did was brilliant. Yeah, he dies. He dies. I mean, it's not a spoiler. He dies at the beginning, doesn't he? It is. It's an amazing show. Do you know what, Sean? I was so chuffed. His wife in it, I won't give spoilers away. Lovely lady, but gorgeous, great actress. I said something about it and she liked it on Twitter. I was like, ooh. Not quite as good as Sea Trout getting a like the other day from Big Phil of xCloud fame, but I was chuffed with that. It's a great show. But my point being, the quality of the thinking in that show. Future Man was another one that's quite clever from a comedy sci-fi perspective, although I got a bit bored with it after a while. But Upload, just the thinking behind the science fiction-y stuff is great. So yeah, if you haven't seen that one, it's on Amazon Prime. I'll just hide this. We've seen enough of that, haven't we? And it's on Amazon Prime. It's because it's an original Amazon Prime show, I think. But it's great. Absolutely fantastic. So enjoy that one. It is nice to get a like from a celeb, Sean. I totally agree. I think it's really sweet as well. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they, like the rest of us, are doing something creative and they want to know if people like it or not, don't they? So, of course, they check out Twitter and other stuff and they hope that most people go, oh, that was cool. And I did. I loved it. I was quite happy to tell her that. So there you go. We're rapidly approaching the 8:30, folks. So I've got time for one more question. I'll have a quick whip through here. But Dark Souls 3 is not pronounced Death Stranding, just in case you confuse the other viewers with your number 2 pick. Never played Dark Souls 3, actually, I don't think. Let's see now. Yep, so if you guys have got any last-minute quizzes, I'm more than happy to do one more for you, and then we'll call it an evening. But just to recap, I've been asked to be the ambassador of the Exeter College eSports Academy, which I'm dead chuffed about, and I'll cover that off a bit more in the future. So, no, looks like, unless the chat's still catching up, that I've drained you of any viable questions. Just to let you know, I will be on the GSN podcast tomorrow at 10 p.m. UK. And then after that, oh, here's one just come in, I'll grab that. Then after that, I'm going on Rick Tone's show. Great show, can't wait for that. Although I say that, I need to let him know again because he might have forgotten me. What else is coming up? Next week, Rock Review, and then very, very soon, Rock and Ray Season 2 and Cloudbased Season 2. Been working today with Avery over at GSN on the format for the new show. We're assembling our panel. I've heard from, let me just check, I've heard from everybody that I've asked positively to say yes, we're up for it. And it's not the same people in the main as before. I'm just going to check now. and then we will be bringing it back, and then I can share a bit more with you. It's going to be slightly different. No, not Blake like my fleet. I do silly things with fleets. Just after Google announced there was going to be the search bar, I did a fleet that said, "I'm not the search bar you're looking for," which made me chuckle. No, I've not heard from the other individual yet, but that's not a massive surprise yet. But I will let you know. So Rock and Ray 2 coming up, and Cloudbased 2 coming up, and a couple of other things that will remain a secret until such time as they have been cooked a bit more. Now, just quickly, Stadia Krampus. I mean, where are we? The first question. Here we go. If you had to start your business over again, would you? Damn, that's a good question. Dave Codex asked me if I wasn't in business, what would I be doing? And instantly, without any hesitation, I said I would want to be in the police force. And the reason there was no hesitation is because I genuinely think that. I still feel that to this day. Now, the qualifier here, ladies and gentlemen, is that the UK police force, particularly when I was growing up, is completely different to police forces in most countries. And on my mum's side, her grandfather, uncles and stuff were all either in the police force or in the prison service. And it's the sense, and the reason that I always wanted to be in the police force is because the two things: one, I love helping people. The second is I detest bullies, and criminals are bullies. There is a victim for every crime, and the perpetrator of the crime knows this, and therefore, as far as I'm concerned, they're bullies. And I would love to have been in the police service. I'm too old now, sadly. My brother's done everything. He was a leading fireman. He was a helicopter pilot. He was in the police. He's done everything. But that's the thing. It's in our DNA, that whole kind of wanting to serve people, help people. In terms of business, I'd have to be in business. Because it's in my blood. My dad is, he's a bricklayer. He's retired, but he's an entrepreneur, and I would always have had to be in the business. The sad thing for me, if I'm honest, is that I kind of, I came along. Obviously, when I started in business, the internet, that's not true. The World Wide Web didn't exist. The World Wide Web came into being the year I got married, 1991, ladies and gentlemen. Still with my good lady wife after all these years. In fact, I'm 54 and we met when she was 17 and I was 19. We've been together. So literally, I guess, childhood sweethearts, bless her little socks. But having watched the likes of Zuckerberg and Larry Page and all these guys making an absolute fortune. I make a living, but I'm not in their world. And I've kind of watched them doing their stuff and thinking to myself, that could have been me, but I wasn't born in America. You see, the difference is, and this is true, I believe, we have ideas in the UK. Tim Berners-Lee obviously was a Brit, invented the World Wide Web. We have ideas, but what America has is it has entrepreneurship in its DNA. It's that whole kind of pioneer spirit. And American investors know that if you invest in a company, it's usually long term. UK investors want their money back in 2 years. That's the difference. So you can never you can never get Facebook taking off in the UK. Can't happen because you don't have the investment. And the big UK entrepreneurs in internet tech that made money have had to get their investment out of Britain. They would not have got the investment they needed on these shores. And I'm not based in London. I have an office there, but my business is very much in a backwater rural area. That's where I live. So, it's kind of where we are. Yeah, Dan, it's annoying because Dan says I could code early Facebook by the time I was like 25. He's 32 now. He's a very bright guy, Dan. If I'd have been born earlier, yeah, that's the sad thing, isn't it? Now, I did see Jeff said, "Hey, Jeff, how are you? How much should you charge to wash all the windows in London?" Well, now that is a question. I would charge 1 penny to wash all the windows in London, Jeff, because all the window owners in London would happily have me clean all their windows. And as we're talking somewhere in probably the region of 1 billion windows, 1 penny for every window would be a significant return. And I would develop some kind of a robotic scenario so that it wouldn't require the payment of a human to do it. There you go. There you go. I think we'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. It is an Ask You Anything, Jeff, and I answered. Thank you so much for turning up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure how long we've been going because this thing doesn't actually tell you how long your show's been going, but it's long enough. That's the important thing. Thank you all. I'm not sure who's coming up next in the wonderful wide world of the internet. Let's have a little looky-poos, see who's streaming and who isn't streaming. Doopy-doopy-doo. I love it when you can look down. So at the moment we've got Cloud Gaming Extreme, Dave, Codex. Get over to Dave's station. Get over there. He's actually doing The Forest, which is a great looking game. And there's only 4 watching him, bless his little socks. So go and have a look at Codex Entertainment. Subscribe, like, and say Rock sent you. Right, let me let you guys go. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed that. I don't know if I'm going to do this every week because it's a train actually, but I will pop up and I will be doing it later. Adam is streaming. Yes, Adam. Thank you, Dre. I promised Adam, didn't I? Original Penguin, that I would promote. Original Penguin's got a show coming up in a couple of hours, and Stadia Dad, sorry Lee, Cloud Dad Gaming is, I know, Cloud Dad Gaming is going to be on Original Penguin show. It's going to be a kind of a late night game thing with no holds barred on the old language and what have you. I'm going to be watching that. It's going to be great fun. Please go and watch it. I promised, and thank you so much for reminding me, Dre. I promised Adam last night that I would give that a shout out. So go and check that out. What have we got? Dan is doing some Trials Fusion later. Nice. Watch. So that will be on the GSN channel. So go and watch Dan doing some Trials Fusion. This is a great, what I love on YouTube. I just have my little thing open that shows when someone's broadcasting and I can just jump in and do it. Thanks, Em. Lovely chatting, guys. Really appreciate you all turning up. I will see you on an official nature next. Sorry, on Adam's stream, says Dan. It's on Original Penguins. Gotcha. And watch out for Rock and Ray 2 and Cloudbased 2 and Rock Review on Tuesday. I love you guys to pieces. Thank you so much for all of your support. Somewhere on here is a button that says end stream, so I'm ending it. Take care. Speak soon.